Once there was a little farm with a pond full of geese and ducks. On a fine spring morning, a mother duck felt her eggs start to crack beneath her. One by one, all the eggs broke open, with each new baby duckling cuter than ever. Until the last egg broke open. The duckling did not look like the other cute little ducklings. He was gray and clumsy and way too big. The mother duck thought, "How big and clumsy this duckling is." But she loved him just as much as the other ducklings. The next day, the mother duck took her ducklings to meet the other farm animals. As soon as they entered the farmyard, the other animals started to call the gray duckling names. "Look at the ugly duckling," said a mean old goose. Soon, his own brothers and sisters were calling him names. They called him Ugly Duckling. This went on for days, and the ugly duckling decided to run far away. He ran deep into the field. He finally came upon a pond full of geese. It was nighttime, so he fell asleep in the tall grass surrounding the pond. In the morning, the ugly duckling was just about to meet the geese when they were scared by a hunter and his dogs. The ugly duckling stayed in the long grass and hid from the hunter and his scary dogs. When he was sure they were gone, he started to walk towards a cottage he could see. An old woman lived there with her prize hen and cat. The old woman let the ugly duckling stay because she thought she could fatten up the duck to sell him at the market. The prize hen and the cat were very rude to the ugly duckling. And besides, there was no water for him to swim on here. So the ugly duckling snuck away one night to find a lake. He found a nice lake, but none of the other birds spoke to him. They thought he was too ugly to bother with. One day, a beautiful flock of white birds with long necks flew overhead. The ugly duckling began to cry, but he had no idea why. It was getting colder, and soon all the other birds left the pond because winter was coming. The ugly duckling stayed and awoke one morning to find his feet frozen in the lake. A nice, kind farmer found the ugly duckling and saved him. He thought he would be a nice house pet for his children, so he brought the ugly duckling home. His wife and children were not very happy with the ugly duckling, and so the ugly duckling snuck away to find a new home. It was winter, and the ugly duckling found a spot on a pond's edge. He built a nest. He was safely hidden to snuggle away the whole winter. Finally, spring arrived, and the pond thawed. The ugly duckling spread his wings. He found his wings grew very strong during the winter. The ugly duckling landed gracefully on the lovely pond. Just as he landed, he noticed 3 snowy swans near the pond's shore. He felt the same way he had had the first time he saw them fly overhead. The ugly duckling slowly swam over to meet the swans. And then, as the ugly duckling swam, he noticed his own reflection. What do you think he saw? His own reflection was that of a beautiful white swan. You see, over the winter, the ugly gray duckling had grown into a beautiful, white, graceful swan. and he was the most beautiful bird of all. The new swans welcomed their new swan friend. The swans were so very nice to the ugly duckling, who was now a stunning white swan. The ugly duckling promised himself he would never forget the lessons he had learned as a young ugly duckling, as he lived happily ever after with his new family on the beautiful pond. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Aladdin, who lived far, far away with his poor widowed mother. One night, a stranger knocked on the front door and said, "Good evening. My name is Mustafa, and I am looking for my brother's son, Aladdin. I would like to take Aladdin to work with me to make good money." Aladdin wasn't too keen on the idea, because there was something about Mustafa that he did not like. But his mother thought it was a great idea, and she agreed to let Aladdin go with his uncle. Aladdin and his uncle walked for a full day into the desert, until they reached a cave with a small entrance. Mustafa was too big to fit through the entrance, so he asked Aladdin to go inside. Aladdin did not trust him and was afraid he might block him in. But his uncle told him there were gems and gold inside the cave. Mustafa told Aladdin he could take as much as he wanted. Mustafa only wanted an old lamp from inside the cave. So Aladdin went inside. Aladdin could not believe his eyes when he entered the cave. It was full of treasures. He started filling his pockets with diamonds and rubies and emeralds. He also found a gold ring that fit his finger perfectly. Finally, he found the lamp Mustafa had asked for. He yelled for Mustafa to help him out. But Mustafa said he wanted to see the lamp first. Aladdin did not trust him, so he refused to let him see the lamp. Mustafa was angry and said, "I am not your real uncle, and I don't care about you, Aladdin. Since you won't give me the lamp, I will block the cave entrance with this huge rock." Mustafa left Aladdin inside. Aladdin sat crying with the lamp inside the cave. "Stupid old lamp," he said. "It is not even real gold." He rubbed the lamp a little to wipe off the dust. And all of a sudden, poof! A genie came out of the lamp. "Master, I will grant you 3 wishes," said the genie. Right away, Aladdin said, "Take me home." And poof, Aladdin was at home. His mother almost fainted at the sight of Aladdin. He told her about Mustafa and the cave full of treasures. Aladdin rubbed the ring he had put on his finger, and a second genie appeared. "Master, I can grant you 2 wishes," said the genie. Aladdin wished for a grand palace and enough wealth for him and his family to be rich forever. All of a sudden, Aladdin and his mother had a beautiful palace filled with riches. One day, Aladdin was walking through the city when he saw the most beautiful girl. He fell in love with her at first sight. She was the Sultan's daughter, Yasmin. Yasmin loved Aladdin too. Aladdin went to ask the Sultan if he could marry Yasmin, and the Sultan said yes. After many years, the Sultan died, and Aladdin ruled the country. This news reached Mustafa. Mustafa knew how Aladdin became so rich and powerful, and he made a plan to get the lamp back. Mustafa tricked Yasmin, who had no idea who he was, into trading him with the old ugly lamp for a shiny new one. Yasmin accepted the trade and went to show Aladdin. Aladdin was mad at Mustafa for tricking his wife into this trade. He searched for Mustafa and found him sleeping with the magic lamp. Aladdin slipped the lamp from Mustafa and raced back to the palace. Aladdin had one more wish, and he asked the genie to turn Mustafa into a frog so that he could never bother them again. The genie granted Aladdin's wish, and Yasmin and Aladdin lived happily ever after. A long, long time ago, beyond the Great Wall of China, a tiny dragon named Mushu left his home in search of a young girl named Mulan. Mulan had cut her hair and dressed as a man to take her place in the war against the fierce warrior Huns. Mushu the dragon was supposed to guard and protect Mulan. "Walk like a man, legs apart," advised Mushu as she entered camp. "Punch the guys in the arm, they seem to like that. Call them nicknames and spit a lot." Every time Mulan followed Mushu's advice, Mulan caused more trouble. Soon all the new recruits were fighting. The camp was in total chaos. When Captain Chang arrived, Captain Chang asked Mulan her name. As Mulan tried to disguise her voice as a man, she told Captain Chang her name was Ping. Captain Chang was a strong and skillful leader. Mulan felt inadequate, but she worked hard and used her mind to finally win Captain Chang's respect. All of the soldiers admired Ping's determination and hard work. She inspired them. Not even her best friends knew that Ping was a woman. One day, Captain Chang led his troops to join the Imperial Army. Mulan and her friends sang songs, but sadly, their good cheer ended when they realized the army and their village were in ruins. Captain Chang was extremely upset when he realized his father, the general, had been killed in the battle. Mulan tried to comfort Captain Chang, but the Huns returned. Mulan proved to be a great and courageous soldier. Mulan, with Mushu's help, caused a huge avalanche that buried the enemies. Even though Mulan was wounded in the battle, she was still able to jump on her horse and rescue Captain Chang from the oncoming snow. As Mulan's soldier friends helped Mulan and Captain Chang back to safety, Captain Chang awoke and looked at Mulan with admiration. "From now on, you have my trust," he said, and he thanked her. Mulan's smile soon turned to pain, and as her wound was treated, everyone learned the truth about Ping. They all found out Ping was a woman. At this time in China, Mulan's deception was punishable by death. But Captain Chang spared her. "A life for a life," Captain Chang declared. Feeling rejected, Mulan watched as the troops marched away, leaving her alone with Mushu. With a sad, heavy heart, Mulan confided in her friend Mushu that she just wanted to do things right, so that when she looked in the mirror, she would see someone worthwhile. "But," Mulan said, "I was wrong. I see nothing." Mushu tried to make Mulan feel better, and confessed he had set out to make Mulan a hero so he could regain his position as guardian. "At least you risked your life to help people you love. I risked your life to help myself," said Mushu. Mulan hugged the little dragon. How could she be mad at such a friend? This quiet moment was shattered when Mulan realized that a few of the Huns had survived. She raced toward the imperial city to warn Captain Chang. Mulan got there just moments too late, as the emperor had already been taken as a prisoner. Mulan's soldier friends tried so hard to break down the palace door, but without any success. Mulan said she had an idea. Mulan dressed her soldier friends as women. The Huns had no idea they were soldiers, and the soldiers got in and rescued the emperor. But Shan Yu, the Hun leader, fiercely attacked Captain Shang. To protect the captain, Mulan revealed herself to Shan Yu as the soldier who defeated him at the mountain. Shan Yu began to chase Mulan, but the dragon and Mulan had a plan, and they led him to the roof of the palace. Just when he reached the top, Mulan grabbed his sword and pinned his cloak to the roof. Mushu shot a rocket towards him, and Shan Yu disappeared in a blast of fireworks. Mulan was so happy as she realized she was special just as herself. She returned home and presented Shan Yu's sword to her father. He was so grateful. Captain Shang followed Mulan home as he realized his feelings for her had grown. Mulan was so much more than a great fighter. Finally, her heart was full. And Mushu, the little dragon, regained his guardianship, and they all lived happily ever after. A long, long time ago, in Sherwood Forest, there lived two outlaws whose names were Robin Hood and Little John. They were the smartest, fastest, and best archers in the world. The prince of the land wanted them arrested and sent all of his men after them. But Robin Hood and Little John outsmarted Prince Jonathan's men and easily escaped. With their many disguises and amazing skills, Robin Hood and Little John stole the prince's jewels, his gold, and one time, they even stole the prince's royal robe. To the people of Nottingham, Robin Hood and Little John were heroes. Whenever the sheriff came around to collect high taxes, Robin Hood somehow filled back up the villagers' pockets with coins. Once the sheriff even took a rabbit's family's last penny. Robin Hood heard about it and visited the mother rabbit with a bag of gold coins as a gift, so she could look after her whole family. Mother Rabbit thanked him as Robin Hood sped off to his hideout. Meanwhile, the beautiful Maid Marian was out for a walk with her friend when she noticed Robin Hood's wanted poster. She confided in her friend how much she loved Robin Hood. Her friend assured her they would be together someday. Meanwhile, Robin Hood had caught a glimpse of Maid Marian on her walk. Robin Hood told his friend Little John how much he loved Maid Marian. "She is so lovely," said Robin Hood. "Well, why don't you ask her to marry you?" said Little John. "What would she see in me? I am a wanted outlaw," said Robin Hood. Just then, their friend Friar Tuck joined them. "Someday you will be called a great hero," said Friar Tuck, "not an outlaw." Friar Tuck then told Robin about an archery tournament being held nearby. "Maid Marian has promised a kiss to the winner," Friar Tuck remarked. Robin Hood wore his best disguise yet and won the tournament. But it was a trap set by Prince Jonathan. As Maid Marian kissed Robin Hood, Prince Jonathan arrested him and sentenced him to death. "Please, no," Maid Marian pleaded with Prince Jonathan. She confessed her love, and she begged for Robin Hood's life to be spared. "Marian, my darling, I love you too," Robin Hood declared. Little John fought off the prince's men and saved Robin Hood. The sheriff of Nottingham fought them too, but they all managed to escape to Sherwood Forest. As they fled, Robin Hood asked Maid Marian to marry him. I thought you would never ask," she happily replied. They spent a special night in the forest filled with fireflies. Robin Hood offered her a ring made from flowers to pledge his love. Back at the palace, the prince was very angry that they could not find Robin Hood. Prince Jonathan tripled the taxes and ordered the sheriff to throw anyone who could not pay in jail. Soon the jails were full. Robin Hood and Little John came up with a plan to let all the village prisoners out of jail. The plan worked. While the prisoners were all escaping, Robin Hood snuck to the castle and took every last bag of Prince Jonathan's gold and coins. Soon after, the real King Richard returned to Nottingham. The king was very upset at what he heard that Prince Jonathan and his men had done to the villagers. The king ordered Prince Jonathan and all of his men to prison. The very next day, the joyful wedding of Robin Hood and Maid Marian took place. As all of the friends gathered to celebrate their love, everyone knew Nottingham had returned to a happy and peaceful, loving town again.